How's it going, everybody? Taki here, back with another guide. Today we're going to be taking a look at the new elite dungeon, the Shadow Reef. Welcome back. It's currently release day, and I'm planning on making a separate guide that focuses specifically on the mechanics of the boss, but I decided to make a video that encompasses the entire dungeon, showing the critical paths that you have to take and some of the different aspects of the dungeon. When you first start out, the first part is very linear. You just have to traverse through and kill all of the mobs to be able to progress through the gate. The mobs in these first two sections are very standard. Everything besides the Crassian scouts are very negligible. The Crassian scouts can hit very high, but you should be able to soul split through all of this with no problem and use any AoE abilities to burn them down quickly. Your next gate is blocked by two Necromancers that you're going to want to burn down as fast as possible, as they'll keep spawning adds while they are up. Once you kill them, you're going to traverse down the area to the next path with some Crassian warriors. Again, these can hit very high, but you should be able to burn them down with no problem, especially if you're in a trio. The only problem is they walk kind of slow, as do a couple of things inside this dungeon. You can stun them and then do a stun rotation on them to finish them off very quickly. The path forks out a little bit, and then you have two sets of mobs on both sides that you can divide up amongst the people inside your group. If you've done the Pieces of Hate quest, you should recognize the falling bodies that you will see all around this beginning area. You can also see Bossy McBossface, which was the name picked by the charity winner of an event that they held a while back. He's pretty standard, as are all of the mini bosses in this area. Once this area is cleaned, you're going to have to climb over the mast, and you might be thinking that you can click on the actual brown part, but as it stands right now, you can only click on the ledge, the very small part of the ledge, to be able to cross over. You're going to burn down these adds over here. There's nothing special about these except, again, they walk very slow, and you can AoE them down with any of your abilities very easily. Once this trash is cleared, you are now ready to fight the first boss in this instance, which is the Crassian Leviathan. When you first get in here, you're going to want to go all the way to the boss, as the mid area is going to be filled with a green smoke that can almost one-shot you, or very close to one-shot you. You're going to want to flank the boss on either side, and you should be good to be able to use Soul Split throughout the duration of this fight. As long as you're not dead center, you won't be able to be killed with any kind of one-shot mechanic. As you can see on screen right now, somebody went dead center in the middle of his breath attack, and they got one shot, but as long as you're on either side of him, that attack won't hit you. Neither will his melee attacks. At this point in the boss fight, where the boss will choose a random side to drag his head across, if you're on that side, you will be killed unless you can surge to the other side very fast. You should be able to do this if you're on the wrong side to begin with. If the first attack is not on the side that you're on, you simply have to just keep rotating back and forth between his attacks. Be warned that sometimes his animations can cancel, but the attack will still go through, as you can see on screen now. And the rest of the boss is very straightforward. It's just burn it down to be able to kill the boss. With the Crassian Leviathan dead, you should be able to walk through the boat that he was in to be able to traverse to the next area. When you're on the other side, follow the linear path to the next gate to be able to progress through the dungeon. The next three gates are all filled with monsters that I've already talked about, and the same things that I've said there apply to these monsters. They go very slow, but can be AoE'd down very easily. Once you jump down this ledge, you'll have another new monster to deal with. These skeletons can hit very high melee damage, but you should be able to burn them down with no problem. And this circular room is also very straightforward. To my knowledge, you have to kill every single thing in here to be able to progress through the next part of the dungeon. And when you progress through the next area, you should see a big room with a lot of different monsters. You are going to be able to kill certain groups of these to be able to open up either sides of the rooms on your east or west corner. And to my knowledge, you don't need to kill every single monster in these rooms, but I did need to kill some of the monsters on the right side of the room to be able to open up this gate. This next area can be a little bit dangerous. You might want to put on Protect from Range as you're being flanked by rangers from all sides that can hit very high. You have to kill all these mobs that are blocking the bridge up ahead to be able to open up the gate and go to safety. When you get to this next area, you can see the path branches out in 3 different directions, but you don't need to really worry about those other places as the crypt path is over to the west corner. So all you have to do is just simply go over to the west gate and kill the mobs that are next to the wall, and you should be able to pass through with no problem. This final area leads over to a checkpoint right before the second boss. All of the mobs are the same as the ones that have come before it, so simply burn them down. If you need a bank, this is a time to do so, and teleport back to the checkpoint before you start the second boss. And now it's time to start the second encounter, which is with the Necromancer. This room is in the shape of a circle, and it doesn't really matter where you stand at the start of the boss. You should be able to use all combat styles also with no problems. When you engage the boss, you're going to want to have Protect from Mage on, as his hits are actually very high, and you shouldn't really be able to use Soul Split here without having too much damage being dealt to you. His fire attacks go out, so you should be able to Soul Split in between these, as this attack is slower than the range hit that comes later. At a certain point in the fight, the boss should spawn a rift, which will start spawning adds. You're going to want to burn that down as fast as possible, because it'll keep spawning adds the longer that it's up. At this point, the boss will take an Uber heal and spawn an ad in the corner of the room. He's not really too much of a problem in trio, and he's very slow, so you should be able to stun him and attack him if you need to, but he does need to be burned down quickly, and it's pretty much just tank and spank for this portion of the fight. During this time, the boss will also switch into a range stance and go into a death swiftness, and at that time you are going to want to switch to your range prayer as his attacks are very accurate and fast. When the ad is finished, you should be able to go back on burning the boss. At a certain point in the fight, the boss will get out of Death Swiftness and go back into his mage rotation. He will get another Uber heal and be invulnerable, and spawn another ad in the corner that will need to be killed and tanked. It's also around this time that the boss will switch back over to spawning the rift that you will need to burn down very fast. During this time, the boss is going to say several chat phrases. When he says, "I am the master of death," you have to look out for a spawn of ghouls that will start traversing through the map. If you are in their range, you will take huge damage, as you can see on screen, which can easily one-shot you, but they do go very slow. And with that mechanic out of the way, there's nothing else new with this boss, so it's just simply burn it down and switch your attack rotations depending on what the boss is using. When the boss is dead, it's time to start making your way over towards the third boss, which is the Ambassador. The monsters in this next area are the same as the ones that you've seen before, but up ahead we will start seeing some Calgarian demons, and only a few of them actually have to be killed as part of the crypt path. This next room has 3 sets of Calgarian demons, which can all be skipped, and you can go around them to the next part of this dungeon. Once you're in this next area, follow the linear path over to the west side and then get ready to dive down into the abyss. When you spawn, you will reach your next checkpoint, and you can toggle your chest if you haven't done so already after killing the second boss. The monsters in this area are the same as the ones that have come before it, and all of the same things apply. When you reach the end of this corridor, you will be at another checkpoint, and you will be right before the last boss, which is the Ambassador. At the time of making this video, the Ambassador does have one mechanic that can be skipped depending on your DPS, and I'm going to show you what that mechanic looks like in this run, and also what it looks like when it's completely skipped. At the start of the encounter, somebody in your group will be targeted with a mage attack that you can res for some heal, and then you're going to want to switch over to your range protect prayer. This first part of the boss fight is very standard. The first mechanic that we're going to see is going out right now. The boss will choose somebody and a loading bar will go over their head. When the bar reaches 0, the person will drop 2 squares of purple smoke that do high typeless damage. If you have bladed dive, you can simply just bladed dive away, drop it, and then come back to the boss with barge, or you can just use escape or surge. The next mechanic that you're going to need to deal with is the unstable rifts. This is very easy to deal with. All you have to do is stun the rift to be able to get it to disappear. If this is not dealt with, you will take high typeless damage that can easily kill you. Around this time, the boss will also go into his first DPS check, and if it's not met, you will have to deal with this next mechanic that I'm going to explain with a little graphic on screen now. During this mechanic, the boss will be standing dead center, and he will send out lines in the directions that you can see on screen now. It's safe to be standing in any of the 3 quadrants that you can see. The lines will then start moving very slowly counterclockwise, and if you are trapped by these lines, you will be killed. While dodging the lines, you will have to go around the circle killing sinister fragments. These have a pretty high health pool on trio and in duo, but you shouldn't have any problem dealing with them by the time it takes you to get around the circle once. Any sinister fragments that are not killed will go to the boss, and he will use those as a bomb that will detonate to the whole group. You can use defensive abilities to limit your damage taken from this hit, and it is very high. That being said, if your DPS is high enough, you can simply skip over that mechanic, and you can start the next mechanic that will happen around 400,000 HP. At this point, another boss will spawn in the corner of the room, and he will do an attack that will heal everybody in the group, and then he will do another attack that will burn any remaining adds in the room. This next part of the boss is very straightforward. You will see hands all around the room, but to my knowledge, they don't really do anything. You can just stand melee distance to the boss. The only thing that you need to worry about in this time is that you're praying range, and that when you see your name called out by the boss, you quickly switch to magic prayer, or you use a defensive ability because you're going to take a huge hit, as you can see on screen right now. During this time, the boss is also being periodically healed by the hands around the room, so you have to beat this DPS check to be able to beat the boss and collect your loot. That's the end of this one. If you liked the video, consider dropping a like below and subscribing to the channel if you aren't already. Feel free to take a look at one of the videos on screen now, and until next time, Taki out.